Ooh, the streaming wars are heating up. Positions are being swapped. We got climbers, we got fallers, all that kind of stuff. Of course, we are in the streaming wars era, right? In a streaming era when it comes to on far as television goes, streaming has completely replaced broadcast cable television at this point. The broadcast cable television subscriptions have fallen like a stone in the ocean, and we keep on seeing the rise of the streaming networks. But there's been some moving and shaking, and 9 to 5 Mac has released the top 7 streaming platforms right now with a big change. And that big change has been this. HBO Max, and I know they're just called Max now, but Max has passed Disney Plus on the streaming chart. And number 1 may surprise you. The number 1 streamer right now is Amazon Prime.
That absolutely does surprise me because I never hear anyone mention it.
I mean, listen though, when you think about it, shows like The Boys, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And then when you think about the one big advantage that Amazon Prime members have is that if you are an Amazon Prime member, you've got Prime Video.
That's what I was going to say. It's already there.
Huge thing. And people take advantage of. There's a lot of streaming hours off Amazon Prime.
It's like everyone does it, but no one's talking about
it. Yeah, except for some of the individual shows. Again, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, things like that. Now, number 2, only behind it, according to 9 to 5 Mac, by 1%, only 1% behind them is Netflix. In the number 3 spot now is Max, which has surpassed Disney Plus, whose numbers have fallen. You know, this wasn't just a matter of Max had a big surge. They did climb a bit, but Disney fell a bit, and thus it fell down to the number 4 spot. At number 5 is Hulu. At number 6 is Paramount Plus, and at number 7 is Apple TV Plus. So it's an interesting lineup there. Good for Max, though. Climbing up. You know, we talked the other day about the fact that certain divisions at Warner Brothers that have not been profitable for a long time, and listen, they still have a number of areas that they need to fix up and right their ship on, but their streaming's done pretty well. They've done some pretty good things, I'm sure, boistered up by things like House of the Dragon. And what was the other big thing on HBO or on Max just recently?
Succession.
Succession, of course, is a huge thing, and a number of other things. These have elevated their rankings as well. Good to see Paramount Plus. Their numbers have gone up as well. Good on them for that. Surprising or not, no Peacock on the list.
What?
Yeah, what? Although I like Peacock. I mean, it's the only place I go to watch Parks and Rec in the office.
Oddly enough, I watch Peacock more than Paramount, and I'm surprised Apple TV is below Paramount.
Well, but here's the thing. Apple is taking a very crawl, walk, run approach. Like, they're not throwing out 10 new original series or movies a month, right? Like, they're taking a very slow, methodical, putting out excellence after excellence after excellence. They've got a long-term plan, right? Apple TV Plus clearly has a long-term plan.
True.
It's going to be interesting to see this list, though, because I can't remember what the actual date is. I think it's this week. Super Mario Brothers, the number 1 film of the year, is going to be dropping on Peacock. And I wonder if we're going to see that make a splash on there. I suspect that maybe it will. Anyway, Chris, you see this list, anything that jumps out at you when you take a look at this list?
I am surprised that Disney's that far down on the list, honestly. But then again, they haven't had the best track record with their shows.
True.
They really haven't. And I think that they need more things to stick the landing. I just binged American Born Chinese this weekend. Oh my gosh, that series was phenomenal. That was so good. And I wish more people were talking about that. That feels like a Netflix move to me almost, where I'm like, you have this amazing cast with the heavy hitters from Everything Everywhere All at Once in this show. Why aren't we talking more about this? What's going on? So that did surprise me there. Amazon, though, makes sense being up at the top because of that Prime factor.
Yeah.
You get so many benefits where even if you don't want the streamer, you get it.
You know what? To your point, I was just going through my YouTube feed and I came across this video called, and I think it was something called like the 20 benefits of Amazon Prime you don't even know you have.
Yeah.
And I started going through a video. I'm like, and Ann and I called Ann into this. Like, you got to see this. We're like, you can do that because we have Prime? What? It's crazy.
Every now and then I get an email like, you have this option. I do?
They even have Amazon's music streaming.
Exactly.
So like kind of Spotify, Apple Music version.
Yeah, I had no idea.
There's tons of stuff on there. And they've got killer shows too. I mean, The Boys, obviously. Miss Maisel was very big. Good Omens is coming back for a second
people
season.
love Good Omens. Yeah.
Oh, I watched that so many times. I've seen that season so often. So I'm so excited about the new one coming, especially since it's entirely new material from Gaiman. So
and is that John Hamm playing
Yes,
the
it is.
Archangel in it? Okay.
Have you not watched it?
I haven't seen season 2. No.
Oh, okay. Season 2 hasn't come out yet, but yeah, as somebody especially who studied theology, I feel like you would particularly love this show. It's so good. So there's really great little treasures on there. So I understand why people are watching it.
What do you think about Max? Because I think a lot of people, when you talk about anything Warner Brothers right now, and this is understandable, the main topic of conversation tends to trend towards the failures of DC, right? So I think it kind of pleasantly surprised to see that Max is doing well. Their numbers are improving again, climbing up, hopscotching over Disney Plus is a good thing. But what do you think about that move from them?
It honestly makes me think that everyone's not doing that great because we keep talking about how Max isn't doing as well as they had hoped, right? And so then it makes me go, ooh, then a whole bunch of these streaming services are performing much lower than anticipated. Because I keep hearing about how Max isn't performing, Max isn't doing this. They've only had a few hits on their hands recently. They had a few things that were, really heavy hitters that are now gone.
But that hasn't really been the narrative lately, though, because once they launched Max, I remember we did a story in the show where the instant adopters far outpaced where they thought it would be, and I mean, when I was looking at the numbers and seeing their percentage of growth on this, to your point, because the narrative has kind of been negative towards it, right? So when I actually looked at the numbers, I'm like, oh, they're doing better than we thought.
Do you think the anticipation level was just like way too high then of, oh, this is going to do so well because we're Max, we're the one to watch blank?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is with them.
With Destiny.
But I mean, it's an interesting thing to see. I just thought those. Actually, let me ask you, Ray. I want to ask you. So we got Amazon Prime, Netflix, Max, Disney Plus, Hulu, Paramount, Apple TV. Which would you say is out of this list is the streamer that you watch the most?
The shows that I anticipate more are the ones that are coming out on Apple TV Plus because they seem to have. They seem to pick theirs very carefully, and
They really do.
I've liked everything I've watched. The ones that get lost is Netflix. There was a couple trailers when I was looking for things, topics for us to talk about. I just searched trailers, right? And then ones that have been uploaded from today or yesterday, whatever. And a bunch, like 3 of them were Netflix things, and I never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Well, that's the world of Netflix, isn't it?
So that might be a problem for them. Amazon, I'm shocked like Jonathan. Amazon it's crazy that's number 1, but then it makes sense too at the same time.
Here's the thing too about Disney Plus and falling. I completely attribute that to this. If Marvel's Disney Plus shows were must-see TV, I think Disney would still be behind Netflix, but I think you'd see a wide gap between Disney Plus in third place and everybody else in second. But I think their big thing is that their premium offerings, their Star Wars shows, other than Andor in the first season or 2 of Mandalorian. Again, Obi-Wan was a disappointment. Book of Boba Fett was a disappointment. I think Mandalorian season 3 was a little bit of a disappointment. The mixed results that they've had with Marvel original shows. Again, if every Marvel show was like phases 1, 2, and 3 quality good, I think you'd see everybody talking about having Disney Plus, but they just haven't.
You know what? I kind of wish we had the prices on that graphic too, just to see how it all correlates to the whole thing. Maybe isn't Disney Plus one of the more expensive ones?
Not really. I think it's right around where I think it's right in the median. I think it's right in the middle.
Netflix is probably higher up.
Yeah,
than
Netflix
those.
is probably be the most expensive because I actually looked at their price.
Depending
plans
on the
other day.
tier you get.
Yeah.
Right. And hey, you can be a Netflix member now and just be an add-on to somebody else's thing for $5 a month.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot. And with Amazon, well, yeah, you get Amazon Video, but you're also getting a mountain of other benefits. So it would be hard to compare even if we had the dollar number there. We want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, Birddogs. You know, as a guy, there's only 2 things that are important to me when it comes to fashion: looking good, and even more importantly, being comfortable. And that's where our sponsors, Birddogs, come to the rescue. Offering everything from pants like stretch khakis, joggers, and sweatpants, to shorts like gym shorts and swimsuits, and even great looking and comfortable polo shirts. Birddogs, like their stretch khaki shorts, are designed to fit slimmer through the thighs and legs, giving you a truly sculpted look. Birddog shorts fit way better than regular shorts that are made of a stiff, restricting cotton. You see, Birddogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki, but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. And that's just one of the reasons that by wearing Birddogs, you're going to look good and, more importantly, feel good. So guys, go to birddogs.com/Campea for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/Campea for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take your bird dogs off. We promise you. Anyway, it's an interesting way things are shaping up over there with the streamer. All right. With that down, let's get on to this one here. Hey guys, thanks for checking out our video. Did you know that we have a daily podcast, hour-long, every single day, Monday through Friday, that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice? Just search for the John Campea Show podcast.